So here we are back up at the Groundswell garden, quite some time now since I was last up here, and we've had 40 degrees centigrade temperatures and no rain, or very little rain, hardly anything at all. So the ground is baking hard. It's amazing that any of these plants are surviving at all. So let's just have a quick look at what we've got. And first of all, this is our Japanese indigo, and amazingly it's still alive. I'm really surprised it's still alive. It's not, obviously it's looking very much worse the wear. A lot of dried up dead leaves, and the rest, the green leaves, are looking very wilted and not very well at all. However, it's still alive after weeks of dryness and heat. So pretty good I think. Next we've got the Dyer's the weld, which, as you can see, is flowering quite nicely. It's stunted. It's not growing anything like as big as it would do in our garden back at home. However, it is still growing. It's produced flowers, and no doubt it'll be producing some seed as well. This little patch here was some plants that I planted much later. And as you can see, even they are now producing flower spikes. So clearly the dryness, the sheer dryness up here, is sufficiently stressful to cause these plants to flower. There's one or two that are still in rosette form, like that one, but not many. Most of them are actually going to flower. Then we've got the Dyer's Coreopsis, which, as you can see, is looking rather nice. Again, the plants are very much stunted. I would expect them to be at least double the height by this time, but they're not. They're quite short, and again the leaves are a little bit wilted, especially down at the bottom. So situation is okay. They're surviving, but not at their best. Then we've got our little plot of woad seedlings. Now these were all planted from seed, and to be honest, there's been absolutely zero progress since the last time I was here. The plants just have not grown at all, and the leaves are growing pink and red, showing that they're under extreme stress. So really disappointing. I was expecting better from woad. Thought it would do better than that. The plants that we put in are really about the same too. They haven't progressed. At all. And again, they're showing signs of stress with their reddish leaves. So still surviving. So no doubt, if it does rain, or if I were to come up here and water a bit more regularly, they would start growing again. But it doesn't bode well for any kind of long-term, big scale growing up here. I just don't think it would work without some sort of irrigation. This is perhaps the most successful, I think, quite surprisingly, most successful of all the dye plants that we've planted up here. This is Dyer's chamomile, and it's really flowering well, extremely well. Given that it's the flowers that produce the dye, there's really quite a good crop here, almost as good as I would get at home, without a doubt. So of all the plants, this one is probably the best at surviving out here in these dry conditions. The Rubriaceae family, of which we have a few plants here, including common madder and lady's bedstraw, there, quite nice, looking quite nice it is. Again, they haven't really grown very much at all. So they're obviously also suffering, particularly the common madder. Again, I'm quite surprised because that is traditionally grown in Iran and various other pretty dry, hot countries. So I would have thought the common madder would have done a bit better than this, but obviously not. There's a rather nice looking tansy there, which is looking quite nice. Again surprising, because these plants, as far as I knew, were plants that really like quite wet conditions. So I'm quite surprised to see it doing quite well. What the flowers look like though when it does flower, I don't know. And in the centre we've got some goldenrod and the Dyer's greenweed. Again, really sort of not doing very much. So there's a little bit of goldenrod in flower, and then we've got what's left of the African marigolds, which are also doing okay. So that's about it. I'm going to give it a good water now and see what happens. Bye for now.